Hey guys, it's Matt. This is not a movie review of The Departed. I'm just going to use or discuss this scene here to talk about how not 80% of the truth community is either not worth listening to or completely compromised. Not in on it, but doing exactly what the system would want them to do, per how the system uses the truth community to put out truth on its own terms, revelation of the method, etc. I just want to discuss this scene here. Do you remember the two thugs standing outside the bar? And he's like, you know how to spot a cop? I should stop with the Boston accents. How do I spot a cop? I'll stop with the Boston accent. No, how do you spot a cop? Anybody out here not paying attention to us is a cop. So, I don't know what happens. Guy walks by, walking a dog, not looking at them. He's like, that's a cop. Anybody not paying attention is a cop. Again, I used to say 80% of the truth community is compromised, pushing that up to 90%. I will lose subscribers based on what I'm about to say because it's, I don't know how long I'll remain on this platform. It's time to beg people to use discernment. I don't like the word. It sounds stupid to me, but it's very accurate and precise in its definition, so I'll use it. Discernment. I don't like it. Just figuring out whether somebody's being used by the system intentionally or not, or they're authentically trying to bring truth. And this has to be said. I mean, the amount of stuff that I get that I just say, we should be able to see through this by now. We really should. So not how to spot a cop, but how to spot a truth channel that's, just doing the bidding of the system. And there are a percentage of truth channels that's on somebody's payroll, in my opinion. There's the lack of discernment is incredible in this community. You can watch these channels where you've never seen their face, have no idea who's putting the channel on. They've never shown themselves, have no idea where they live, what country it's even coming from, but it's like to be believed. I don't understand that. And then, this channel's grown, so I get the shill stuff. And I've been at the same address for almost 20 years. It's just me. I mean, it's not flying me back and forth between Hollywood studios. I'm confirmation. I've been at the same address for 20 years. I mean, I'm not, what can be hidden? It just drives me crazy. And then so that somebody will go to this channel where there's just a voice and you have no idea the person's name. You've never seen their face. I mean, whatever. Okay, let's move on to it. Let's move Marky Mark off the screen here and see. Let's just jump right into it, guys, with the discernment lesson. And I'm going to hit on one of your sacred cows, and people, hundreds of people will get all upset at me. Whatever. So be it. It has to be said. This one has recently been driving me crazy. Every 5 years or so, this comes up. Oh, this altruistic Russian former KGB agent. I've been sent this, I don't know how many times over 10 years. Guys, I'm sorry. It's revelation of the method. What he's saying may be 95% accurate, or even close to 100% accurate, but it's part of the reality script. I assure you, listen to me, there's no ex-KGB agent that starts doing talk shows. Do you understand this? And then the 30, 40%, 50% here are like, of course, Matt, but I'm telling you, the other group just doesn't get it in this truth community. There's no KGB agent that's going to start going on talk shows and saying what their methods are. Do you understand that? Therefore, it's all by design. That doesn't mean it's all false. It could all be real. The purpose of the role of this person at the time this came out, and as it's recycled through the truth community, it's a revelation of the method thing where the truth has to come out, but the best way I can describe it, and I'm no expert at it, I can just recognize it. I can read the matrix code. It comes out the truth on their terms, so it can be managed or whatever. So if I get another email from this Yuri guy, this guy's no hero. He might actually be thinking he's helping, but I don't buy it. If he's ex-KGB, he's totally in on it, but it doesn't matter. Most aren't in on it. But there's no way the system would allow this. It would never be propagated through YouTube. The moment he was be going on a talk show, he would be visited. Of course. It's amazing the percentage of the truth community just doesn't get this. So let's go on to different. Let's just go back to The Departed here. Try to find more palatable. Oh gosh, if it's not Marky Mark, it's Alec Baldwin. You want to talk about not palatable? Here we go. Put the damn movie poster up. You know, I'm the guy that does his job. You must be the other guy. Marky Mark. Oh, my hero. And then he does the the Boston Marathon movie. Anyway, I'm just going to keep this up, guys. It's not about seeing pictures. I have notes in front of me. It's more important I get through this. Let's just get through these. Ron Paul. Okay. There is no possible way somebody that is going to be in the House of Representatives for, I don't know, 40 years or whatever, run for president twice. There's no possible way a figure can be that prominent and be working for you. And, you know, I would even entertain that if there was one mention of the 7-Eleven job application. Even with, there's still a percentage actually of people here, maybe 5%, that still believe in Trump. This is just incredible to me. So in 4 years, there's no talk of the fake events, no mention of it, no mention of the 7-Eleven. I just don't understand how they're given a pass. So if certain big-time politicians, I swear to you, people believe in this. Certain, you know, it just, if they're not mentioning these things, and then they're not, even if they're mentioning them or not, okay, there's no way you're going to be that prominent of a political figure in politics, Capitol Hill, and be working for us. No way. Just no way. So let's just go over to Senator Ron Johnson. These are little mini lessons in discernment. Senator Ron Johnson. Oh, he's talking about adverse events with what's going on now and medical issues if you go rent the movie or the Jabba Dabba Doo. Okay, let me be very clear. There's no possible way a U.S. senator is looking out for us regarding the Jabba Dabba Doo. It's not possible. Okay, this was the Senate is a whole different level. There may be people, I've talked about this before, in the House of Representatives that are trying to push truth or what. They're completely useful idiots, and they can be gotten rid of. That's why it's every 2 years. That's why they have to run every 2 years, because they can be gotten rid of so quickly. Their vote doesn't mean anything. There's hundreds and hundreds of them. They all vote exactly the way Nancy Pelosi tells them to vote, or the other side of the House, or the GOP whip, or what. It doesn't. They're useless. They can't do anything. A senator is a whole different ball game. A senator would always be serving the system. What about Rand Paul? You're kidding, right? Oh yeah, he's working for us. It's not possible. They would never allow somebody into the Senate. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay, this is, yes, it's my opinion. I have to posit this is my opinion, but it's as close to 100% as I possibly can get without, overhearing Rand Paul talking to somebody in an Eyes Wide Shut party. Okay, so Senator Ron Johnson, no, he's not. Well, Matt, why would they bring him out there talking about adverse events? There's reasons for this, okay? There's reasons. I don't want to get into it now. I'm just saying one last time, this is the guy, by the way, that was the back and forth with Hillary. What difference does it make? That entire script, Senator Ron Johnson was the guy that went back and forth. If she said, if I was a senator, she said, what difference does it make? Do you know how I would destroy her right there? She would have never run for president because I would have made her look so small. What do you mean, what difference does it make? People are dead and you're saying what difference? I would have just gone off. He just let her off. It was all part of the script. Time to move on. The QAnon stuff, 100% a system set up from the start. Every bit of being involved in Q is a complete do what the system wants waste of time. Okay, we know that. Let's move on. I mean, I have stuff written down here I shouldn't have even written down. I mean, we know this. We didn't have to go back to second grade or kindergarten. Like Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson. Of There's no possible way these people are not serving the system. You know, that's not even worth mentioning. I mean, Jon Stewart types, it's not even worth mentioning. And these are people are in the know, inside, at least inside their little bucket. Most of the YouTube truth community that I would accuse to be in that 90% that's serving the system, I admit they're trying, in many cases, trying to do the best they can, but serving the system with the truth that the system wants to come out on their own terms. So, I mean, Alex Jones, of Glenn Beck, of course, they give out a ton of truth, farms to keep you satisfied on the farm that you're getting the whole picture. It keeps you away from the final truth, which is always about exposing a reality system that hides a human being from itself, the spiritual side. How many of these heroes of certain people inside the truth community talk about how the whole reality system is out to hide a person from its spiritual self? They will never go there, of course, because that's probably close to the highest level of truth. Let's talk about the subject matter. Okay, well, yeah, let's talk about different subject matter here. I mean, this UFO disclosure thing. Let's go over to here. Okay, the latest big release on Netflix or whatever, Mirage Men. He's got the right eye covered. Mirage Men and all this UFO disclosure, and actually people in this community getting excited about it. I know they'd have to start talking about it sooner or later. Well, of course, the whole UFO thing that's hit hard in the last 6 months is 100% system generated. And I don't know what their final aim is on that. I don't care, okay? It doesn't matter. I simply can read it as matrix code, and I won't pay attention to it. I won't bother with it. Ultimately, what they want to get out of it. It could be a revelation of the method where they're going to manage it the way they want, where there could be certain truths to whatever, if I say Hillary Clinton goes off to lunch with interdimensional aliens that have, forked tongues, you'd believe it. I'd believe it. Who knows what stands behind the screen here, or what we call the evil that a Christian would call it Satan. There's a lot of different, culprits that come out in the police lineup. So who knows? Maybe there's some truth to it, but the point is they're going to manage it on their own terms. So the whole UFO disclosure thing, it's not worth looking at. It's not worth, and even that there's a ton of truth even in this documentary. I could only get through about 30 minutes. It was so bad I had to turn it off. But it talks about using people and agents of the government, using people, getting them to think certain things or to put certain things out in blogs. So in that regard, there's always real truth that comes out, but it's never there to really get to the truth. Ultimately it's there to hide the truth. The truth, remember, is hidden very close to you. If you're sleeping on a beautiful rug, the truth is you're sleeping on King Kong's back. It's so close to you, you believe it's a beautiful rug. It's not. You can only see it if you back up a bit. Always better to back up than to get too close to it. They'll snuggle the truth up. They'll put that stinky truth hot dog right in a bun, right next to the lie. And they'll snuggle them up together. So you take the whole stinky thing into your mouth. So, that's just how they do business. So let's go over the topics. Okay, we just did the UFO disclosure. Let's do this one quickly. People don't get on me very much anymore. Maybe they all get, they were just waiting for me to get on a certain group. That certain group that's demonized. They have they're out right now. They're out in the Middle East, and people get, why don't you call them out, Matt? Why don't you call out this group? Why don't you? They want you thinking it's that group. It's so much larger than that. It's a one world system. It's not, if you're focusing on that group, it's so much bigger than that. It's keeping you so many steps away from seeing the big picture. You need to back up. It's absurd. There are minions that serve it. Maybe there are more minions in that group that serve it, but that's not the point. They love it when you focus on that because that's 20 steps away from real truth. That's 20 steps away from the real bad guy, probably. Whatever lurks around this creates the metaphysical screen itself. This world isn't very real. As you'll see in the free voice video that's coming out in a day or two, I'm dropping the word very. I'm just going to say it's not real. So no, I'm not going to talk about that group. I mean, give me a break. It's 20 steps above that. They love it when you spend time there. People are so clueless in this community. Let's talk about all the topics, all the stuff on BitChute now that people will, or it's not even, there's YouTube channels that people I generally respect, and they're talking about renting of the movie, or from Scooby-Doo, the Scooby. No, I got yelled at. It's not Scooby-Doo. It's Fred Flintstone. Jabba-dabba-doo. The renting of the movie, and it's genocide. Well, I'm not. First of all, okay. Why would you? How could you can't go there? You don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not running out to get it. Of course not. Anything that the ultimate candy that the system puts in its hand, I don't want any part of it. But we don't know what it is. That all these truth channels and mostly BitChute say, oh, it's mass death and genocide. And how do you know that? What evidence is it of that? Is somebody going to try to spin my words there? Matt's pushing it. Oh, yeah, that's real fair. Yeah, that's real. Somebody will take little clips of that's real fair. I'm just saying it's ridiculous to go there at this point. We don't know what it is, exactly what it's for. To spout off this, I'm sorry. I just had the luncheon. Everybody in my family, they're old, fat, not in good shape. They have ailments. Every single one of these old people, they're all in perfect health. Okay, so you're gonna run your mouth about genocide and it's gonna just kill off major swaths of the population. How do you know any of that? It does this. It'll become children of men. Nobody will be infertile. All of that is possible, but to be saying that now, when I'm not saying anybody listening, but to them it's you don't know shit about what this thing is going to ultimately do. You might say, hey, this dark group here is capable of a lot of nasty shit. I'd stay away from it. Don't be dropping words like genocide. Come on, man. What else is on this list? All right, let's go into some of these tabs here. Q, we don't, this is, I don't, I'll watch this HBO documentary when I can just to see how they're managing it, but all right, this is kind of where I'm going. I wanted to lead up to this. All right, now, when something hits in the truth community hard, and I know because people start emailing it to me. I see it covered on other channels, etc. All right, when something hits big and hard, I always put the skeptic hat on and pull it down hard. Okay, so if I don't have videos anymore that go viral. I did when I made videos where I played into the hands of the system, and I put a video out 5 years ago about the starving artists in the 91st floor certainly must be in on everything and for this and that, and then the quick click, next, step up into the window, next, click, quick click, so you get a picture to, all that stuff, the quick click, the helicopter hovering outside. YouTube loved that. The system took it to like 300,000 views. And then I swear some of you remember the next video. This was years ago. It might have been on the old Texas Shrug channel. I said I'm skeptical of my own video because YouTube's loving it and promoting it everywhere. And I've gotten well, Matt, how do you have so many subscribers? Well, first of all, I'm known. I've been doing this almost 10 years, but my subscriber numbers in the last year, I don't know. Like 76 to 78 goes up. The YouTube will send me my statistics, which in terms of watches and minutes watched, and they're very, very, very large. But the subscriber numbers from all those minutes watched and all those people, nobody's passing it along. I mean, subscriber, you're up, 250 subscribers, or it's just, okay. So, I'm still allowed to remain here. I'm still here, but when subscriber numbers just, I've been doing this almost 10 years. When they just go through the roof, like other channels I've mentioned over the years, I've seen 20,000 subscriber jumps in a week or two. That's just not possible for a channel that's not serving the system. Okay? If anybody's saying, well, why your numbers are almost 80,000, maybe you're serving this. Maybe. But okay, but go discern. Don't discern the numbers, because I've been doing this 10 years. Just if you don't like what I'm saying and the words coming out of my mouth, break down what's coming out of my mouth and tell me what's so harmful in what I'm saying. Go back to my prior videos and say, this is where Matt's really being harmful in the message. I don't ever get that sort of pushback. I don't ever get somebody pushing back on this channel saying that what I said here or there was extremely harmful. And let me show you what Matt said, how it benefits the system. I've never seen anybody say anything like that. It's all, oh, this is what Matt really must be, and he must really be a shill because he had a prior life. Actually, he had to put food on the table 15 years ago when he actually had a job and all this stuff. So all this stuff, go back and find a video and analyze what's being said. Okay, that might be the place to start. But guys, let me just what's left on the list here? Well, nothing on the list. What's in front of you? So, guys, how this okay, backing up. This is okay. All of a sudden, this pops up, and it's all over the place. All right, the killing of the mind. Ment. This is the YouTube channel After School. SKOOL. 2 million subscribers. 2.2 million views on the killing of the mind. All of a sudden, this word menticide is everywhere. When a word menticide comes out of the blue, all of a sudden it's like popping up everywhere. You go, okay, is this smells like a system presentation. I'm not saying After School is in on it. I don't know. Okay. I'm saying, yes, in some way this is serving the system. Now, for those of you who have seen the video, and it is related here, and it does seem to be obviously written by the Academy of Ideas. That's much more about quoting Carl Jung and talking about freedom at its root level and Nietzsche and stuff like that. So it really does feel that like After School maybe just put the pretty pictures on the Academy of Ideas initial video. I'm not saying Academy Ideas is in on anything. I'm not saying After School is in on anything. I'm saying that the system is absolutely using them. Okay, and this is how typically it does business. Most people that serve the system, they don't know they're not going to a little window where a little cue card comes back from a green scaled up hand hands the cue card over that's signed by Rothschild. They're serving the system without even knowing they're serving the system, and they're taken to the top. This is how this reality system works. It's Spike Lee and everybody filtering under him. Spike Lee, in the end, doesn't truly understand how he's serving the system. He incredibly serves the system, so he's risen to the top, in some cases artificially, in some cases not artificially. So the video before this is How to Have Mental Clarity in an Unclear World by Russell Brand. I haven't listened to Russell Brand much, but I assure you, it's like posing as a little truther. I assure you it's serving the system. Again, I haven't spent a whole lot of time over there. I watched a couple videos. I find him obnoxious, and I turned it off. I guarantee he's not talking about Captain Hook, and he's not talking about the events on the news being completely fake and contrived, and he's not talking about the 7-Eleven job application. And all that stuff, people gave Trump a pass. He didn't mention one thing. How do you give Trump a pass for 4 years and he doesn't mention one thing that we talk about on these, sorts of YouTube channels going all the way back through Russian vids? He's just waiting to strike, waiting to pounce. I mean, what? I mean, people are lost, but even people in this community are lost. So I'm basically, you might say it's ignorant, but if I see the video before it is written by Russell Brand, and then I go down here and there's a video written by Joe Rogan and these types of system players, I don't need to know anything else about the channel. I'm not saying they're in on it. They're bad, evil people. They're serving the system. And for anybody that's seen this video, you say, well, how does a video, After School, they do this pretty little pictures and first off, guys, before I talk about how this complete exposure of how tyranny comes to be, how that can be actually helping the system, and I'm no expert at it, but I'll try to dive into it. Just when you watch a channel, I mean, honestly, the pursuit of truth is usually just a guy like me, or go watch Uncanny Deduction. There's no production value. It's just sitting around a bedroom, and if this is like producing a movie. The amount of animation and artwork associated with the topic. And I know they don't plop one out, as quickly as I do, but when you watch a YouTube channel and the music and the production value and the feel of it, and just think to yourself, how long did this take to do? The video I have coming up on Free Voice in a day or two, I said the beginning of it, a little summary. I don't usually make videos like this because I had some old clips and things we can show on Free Voice I can't show on YouTube. But I mean, it's just the blending of clips. Even that took me hours. It's just, it's hard to do this. When you watch these YouTube videos, if there's the music and the production value, you're like, oh, is this a real channel? Who's behind this? I know I'm not saying nobody can do better than me. I'm not that skilled at this stuff. But just think about that when you're watching channels, the production value. Well, Matt, then by that Psychology 101, just make the production value look like shit, like yours, and it'll be more believed. Oh, okay, I hear you. But that's not the way the system doesn't generally work that way. Well, it works that way through you, Matt, if you're a shill. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying be aware of these things, all right? So, all right, we'll leave the production value alone for now. So this is a very impressive video, and it's extremely truthful. The killing of the mind, menticide. All of a sudden, like I said, menticide, this word comes out of nowhere, and you can sniff it immediately. Wait a second here. Something comes out of nowhere. This is passed to me from different people. It's on other YouTube channels. All right, it is extremely impressive because it does do a good job presenting, I don't know. I was going to say it does do a good job presenting the basics of how a tyranny forms and a technocracy, and it hints at what we're going through now. It draws people into mask, but it won't really say anything directly about what's happening now. And how do I know if it's a good video regarding how a complete tyranny forms? Because I don't have a master's degree in creating tyrannies in different countries, like George Soros masterclass. But it seems to be very revealing, and I believe it does get close to the truth. But to me, and I'm not saying they're in on it, but it is the highest level farm. It will never really talk about the hardcore issues that we talk about here. There's never anything about understanding spiritual self or about the general reality system here. When you watch this, of course, people just think everything's real, and governments are real, and flags are real, and borders are real, and it will give away a tremendous amount of truth. Even, trying to get people to recognize how a tyranny is forming, as long as it keeps just you that one step away. It's also a little bit unnatural in its presentation. Related back to Academy of Ideas, they'll quote Immanuel Kant, and then they'll quote different de Tocqueville. I mean, all these different quotes come up, and you think, how did they know to find this exact quote that fits this exact situation? I mean, the research involved, even in this Killing of the Mind video, I'm not saying it's beyond what one or two people can do managing a channel, but it's almost like when somebody can pull quotes from obscure, Aristotle said in his fifth treatise this or that, like, how do you remember what Aristotle said in his fifth treatise? And how did you know to use it at exactly the right time? That does get, I do, not that that's impossible, because some people are much more willing to do the detailed research and they, read more than I do and things like that. But it does get my guard up a little bit. All right. I mean, you think Aldous Huxley and in 1984 and Orwell, you think they're just good people trying to work for you? Or do you think it's all part of the revelation of the method where the truth has to come out on their terms? This is how these channels are being used. Just be careful before you start spreading it around. And Matt, look at this. Look into it. Is it being promoted? Why does it have 2 million views? Is it just blatantly saying hardcore about the sea and some of the things we talk about it? No, it's not mentioning, so it draws a few people in a mask, and you can kind of ... relate that to potentially a tyranny forming in governments, or, well, come out and say it then. What are you hiding? Well, Matt, they're worried about their channel. Maybe, okay, but I don't, again, the last one from Russell Brand, they're not talking hardcore truth here. I'm always going to, It's just too perfect. It's too perfect. And the hardcore truth, or in terms of what we need to understand about ourselves and the stuff that really matters in the 3 steps, is never said by these channels. Never, ever. To me, it is a form of, I keep spouting it off, and I don't know too much about it. It's a form of this revelation of the method, just like this KGB is a form of the revelation of the method. So before sending me this stuff, guys, stop and think it through. What's the production value? I'm not going to pull it up here, but the Matrix, is it a channel called Matrix Explained? And I know, I watched it for a month and a half or 2 months, and but to the people still watching Matrix Explained, and it's very interesting about all these different theories. But have you stopped for Matrix Explained? And this is a channel that literally puts out some new mind-blowing theory about what's happening in the Matrix, if not every day, 5 to 6 days a week, and it's been going on for a year. Like if somebody came in and said, I'll give you this amount of money if you can come up with a new Matrix theory, and you were the ultimate fan in fandom, I mean, there's no way 1 or 2 guys running a channel could come up with all of these different way out theories and this and that, and keep producing video after video, day after day, with incredible production value. And then at the end, they'll say, oh, here's our Patreons. And they'll show, though the top patrons are called The One or something because they give the most money or whatever. There's no way a real channel could do that. No, maybe it's working with the Wachowskis. Maybe it's working with Matrix 4. Maybe it's to me, it's got to be tied in to the system, or at least the Lana Wachowski redo that's supposed to be out December of this year, Matrix 4. It has to be tied in some way. I'm telling you, I'm no genius expert when it comes to making videos, guys, but it is, I usually can average every other day. And usually I sometimes, most times in a week, I'll do 4 a week. Okay. Sometimes I can do 5 a week. It's very difficult. If not just the making of the video, it's the research or how to present this, or just the topics alone. And there's so much in this reality system that I've never struggled for things to talk about. Never. It's just so fascinating to me how this whole system works. There's always something I want to talk about. But if you're running this channel and this Matrix Explained, trust me, the scenarios of Agent Smith was really this or that, I mean, it's just mind-boggling. There's no way anybody could come up with all that. And again, this is pretty benign. Well, what you're saying they're in on it too, Matt, and I'm just saying, don't read into Matrix Explained too much. I'm just saying, when you watch a YouTube channel that presents itself like 1 or 2 guys doing a YouTube channel, it's probably, there's certain giveaways where it's much bigger than that. It's not 1 or 2 guys doing a YouTube channel. Okay. Anyway, I guess enough said. Just guys, for my videos, every video, put a hat, a discernment hat or a skeptic hat, and when you watch stuff, pull it down hard, please. And when you see something that's going viral in the truth community, there's nothing possible that can go viral in the truth community in 2021 unless they want it to go viral. You say, yeah, this video from after school is popping up. Why? How would this serve the system if it's talking about the last stages of a tyrannical government? How would that serve it? And it's so, trust me, guys, it's so sophisticated in its methods, just like what you're looking at here. It's so evil genius. We're not gonna understand it a lot of the times. You just have to recognize it and, be aware of it. And that's the ultimate armor you can build for yourself. Oh boy. How many subscribers did I lose? Well, at least I'm at 34 minutes. That's always good. Don't have to play games with the numbers. Thanks, guys. Oh, one thing, guys, I almost forgot. Usually I do a video on Free Voice on the weekend, but it's Sunday. Today's Sunday. Rob's loading Howdy McCoskey's, and it's not good if we just load right on top of each other. So the one I'm doing for Free Voice, it'll be out Monday or Tuesday. I'll let you know. But today on Sunday is Howdy McCoskey's.